So how do you say the name of this place?
Congaree National Park.
Congaree National Park. Have you heard of it? If you have, drop a comment down below because it's one of the least visited national parks in the country. And I'm sure most people watching right now have never heard of this one. Also, if you know where it is, what part of the country, drop a comment saying where it's at, what state.
That's right. It was established in 1976.
As a national park or a national forest?
As a national park.
As a national park. Guess that's why we got the 50th anniversary for the national park stamp in our book. Guess that would make sense.
So this national park only has about 200,000 to 250,000 visitors a year. And it's tucked away in a place that most people don't know about. I mean, you don't even have any signs to tell you there's a national park ahead to get here. So it's like it's like a hidden secret almost.
Yeah, we didn't even see any of those, brown and white signs on the side of the road driving here saying, National Park, Congaree National Park this way. Luckily, we were passing through the area and saw it on the map. And we're like, well, we got to add that to our list. So this is what number total?
I believe it's number 20 total.
So it's our 20th.
First one of the 2026.
Yeah, first one of 2026, but our 20th national park in total. We'll get a few more this year, not as many as last year. If you guys been following along, last year we visited 18 national parks. If not, check out our playlist for national parks, and you guys can catch up on all the ones we've been to. All right, so Ashley just dropped her sunglasses down there. They slipped off her head. I'm gonna see if I can climb down there and get them.
I do not have much luck with sunglasses. All right, you gotta figure it out. Climb over.
That's what's gonna climb through here, but it's a little...
You gotta climb over. Unless you want me to do it.
No.
There's no other way to get down there.
Yeah, it sounds like there's no other access stairs like there was back that way a little bit.
Either get them or don't get them. I don't really care.
Oh, I'm gonna get them. It's
not like they're expensive sunglasses.
That's why we don't buy you expensive sunglasses. You lose them or break them.
All right. Oh, careful.
A little soft there.
I'll put these away.
That's what happens when you drop your sunglasses.
Rescued.
Oh, look, now I got my shoe all muddy.
It's just a shoe, dear. You didn't have to go down there. The sunglasses weren't that big of a deal.
Well, now you got them back. Mission accomplished. Feel better? So this national park not only preserves some of the Native American tribes, the Congaree and Catawba, I think we're saying those correctly, but it not only preserves areas where they lived, but this is also one of the only remaining large old growth trees in the eastern United States. Some of these trees are massive. Pine trees, 150, 160 feet tall. Try to get some on camera for you, but it'll probably be hard to do it justice. Beautiful walking trails, lined by all these old trees. Cypress trees from swamp areas. This area floods, either a floodplain or the river overflows, however you want to call it, about 10 times a year, mainly during late winter and spring. So this national park has these huge floodplains These gigantic cypress trees. I mean, these are some of the tallest cypress knees that I've seen. Some of these trees are massive. It's kind of cool to walk through here. That's how old these things are. Cypress, from what I understand, cypress trees grow slow, so these things are hundreds of years old.
I can't even give it a hug. I need about 4 more people to wrap my arms around this.
Holy cow. Look at the size of this one. I don't know what's down there. This tree is gigantic. There's trees like these that the first European settlers, colonial Americans, cut down and built log cabins out of. That's why if you go up to New England, Massachusetts especially, you get those boards that are like 12, 15 inches wide. Oak boards. Massive trees. Old trees. There you go. You want under? I'll go over.
I kind of made that easier going under, but I was worried about the backpack.
Yeah, you were waddling like a duck for a minute there. Now this is a massive oak tree. Look at this thing. You can't even see the top of it. So many other trees around. I mean, just probably can't even tell the size. Reference here in the video. Jeez, this thing's massive. Well, there's the top of it. All the way up there. Yeah, trees like that back there. That's how Native Americans were able to have a canoe out of one piece of wood, a one-piece canoe. Cut that thing down and cut it to size and shape it and hollow it out. These canoes would probably last forever. I'm sure their canoes weren't quite that big. They probably used some of these smaller trees like this, which are still pretty big compared to a lot of trees around. Hiking trail to the left. Doesn't look very fun. Should be able to get around this way, I guess. A little bit of mud.
Ow. What?
Dang it, do it again. I missed it. I didn't get on camera. You all right?
Yeah, we did it, but what have we done yet?
Right there, that pine tree. I don't know if you can tell on the screen or not, but that thing is massive. Holy cow, you probably build a whole house out of that thing, cutting it up by 2x4s. I mean, I think that's probably the largest pine tree I've ever seen. Walk over to that thing. Show them how big that tree is. Maybe get a little.
Go back in there.
There's no snakes, don't worry about it. Get a little size reference here. That's a big tree.
Down, take volume back here.
That's got a. Still alive, it's still green up at the top, but it just kind of died in the middle. It's kind of like the tree, maple tree at our old house. Look at this right here. Massive tree that fell a while back. What size is root ball? This thing is massive. Of course, you're standing on a big pile of dirt, but still, the thing is giant. All right, we've got a little over a mile left of our 7-mile hike today. Getting there.
All right, guys, the time has come for us to reveal our winner for April 2026 American Journey to 50th t-shirt. So for this month, our winner is Matthew Martin. If you would like a chance to win a t-shirt by July 4th, be sure to click this QR code and sign up for our newsletter.
All right, the time has come. It's time to Regen our BluTech water softener that we got. Saw a few videos ago that we added this to our system. We've been using their 3-stage filter for well over a year now, probably a year and a half. And then they graciously sent us one of those to give us a try. So today we're going to regen this. All you need is a simple table salt. First thing, we got our instructions here that came with it. We got to turn off the water at the hose bib to release the pressure. So I'm going to do that. Then I got a splitter on here, so I'm just going to open it up to relieve the pressure. And the next thing we have to do is this 3-stage filter. Let me disconnect this guy. Pull everything out here so we can work with it. So basically, we have to take this guy off, remove it, and that's where the salt goes. This last stage one is the tasty filter. And then we're gonna reuse this one, so we're just gonna set it someplace where it's not gonna get dirty. I'm just gonna set it over here in our outdoor kitchen. Yep, remove the 3rd canister. And we're gonna pour 13 ounces of common table salt into the canister, and we're gonna reinstall it. I don't have any way to measure it, so I'm just gonna go, this is brand new. It's 26 ounces, so I'm just gonna cut that guy in half. Probably a little more. It's very scientific here. It's probably about half. Yep, got the salt in there. Next step is external drain line. We keep our stuff here on the back of the camper. We don't have a fifth wheel, don't have a storage compartment to keep it in permanently. So this drain line right here, just a quarter inch quick disconnect. Just push that collar in, and it comes right out. This drain tube they give you just slides right in, and you don't have to push the collar in or anything, you just push the tube in, it's good to go. Next step, rotate the dial on the smart cap. This dial here on the front, currently it's on soften. Then you have salt regen, and then back flush, but the setting we want now is the salt regen. The back flush you're supposed to do every 3 months, so stay tuned. When we have come up of 3 months of use of this thing, we'll show you how the back flush operation works. This guy over here. I'm gonna turn the water back on, and supposed to turn the water on and then let it run at a slow stream for about 15 minutes. Let me go turn this water back on. If I turned up a little bit, but here it says flush the water softener for 15 minutes with a light flow of water out of the tube with a stream that has a slight curve to it. That's definitely not a slight curve. Let me turn it back up a little bit. Let's see if that's any better. It's probably good. It's got a slight curve to it. So we're gonna let this flush for 15 minutes and then we'll be back. Alrighty, it's been about 15 minutes or so. So next thing it said 15 minutes, then it says then turn the water source on full pressure for 5 minutes. So I'm gonna go back over here to the hose bib, turn it on full pressure. And we're gonna let that run for 5 minutes and we'll be back. Well, just another 5 minutes went by. Everything is all flushed out. So now you just need to, on the softener, turn it back to soften and then reconnect everything. And we'll be good to go for another 1,000 gallons or so. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because in future, probably another, I don't know, month or so, whenever we get the 3-month mark, we'll have to do a back flush in addition to the salt regen. And I'll take off the drain hose, put the plug back in, and then get everything connected back up to the camper. It's that simple of a process. Just, takes a few minutes, I guess 20 minutes total. Easy peasy. Now we're done. Back to camping.